Steve Young, the great Hall of Fame quarterback, was recently on the radio in San Francisco, and he was lamenting. You know, he's a guy that won a Super Bowl as the guy, won 2 others with Joe Montana as Montana's backup. But he was lamenting what's going on with the San Francisco 49ers. And I got to be honest, look, I like the Niners. You know, I like Purdy. I don't like the vibes I'm getting right now. Trent Williams is sitting out, wants a bigger contract extension, and is declaring he won't play until he gets it. Of course, Brandon Aiyuk has asked for a trade unless he gets paid, and that hasn't worked out, so we don't know how that's going to end. But Steve Young was saying that, hey, maybe these guys should think about winning more than money. Here he is.
That's where the agents got to be able to figure out a way to bring that player to see the values other than the dollars, to see the things that you keep in context, bro, that there's a lot of great players out there that are playing with brutal teams that have no chance to see the full measure of who they could be as a player, and that's not you.
All right, VeeJay, your thoughts?
I like Steve Young, so I'll start there. And I think he always speaks well about the game of football and currently in football, but I didn't like this. And that's because I think they know, Steve, that they have a chance to win. They've been to the Super Bowl. Some of these guys have been twice, and they've come up short both times. But in the business of pro sports, we talked about this yesterday about guys getting their bread. You have to get your money because this game isn't long. This game isn't kind to your body. It ain't kind to your joints, your ligaments, your bones. It's not kind to your brain. So you got to get your money and get paid. And if I'm Trent Williams, for instance, right? To me, best left tackle in the league. So I want to be paid as that. Brandon Aiyuk, hey, I'm a big part of this. Don't act like I'm not. Now, I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is 30 million, 35 million, 33 million, that type of guy. But he's worth more than what he's making right now. And he only wants to be paid fairly, Chris, for his services and what he brings to the team. And this kind of falls into the line, Chris, you know, old school G's used to tell us a man never comments on another man's pockets. You know what I'm saying? This kind of fell there for me because I believe that they know that there's some guys on bad teams. You don't think everybody in Carolina, yeah, we're going to go out and play hard. We're going to go out and bust our butt. But we have no shot at winning the Super Bowl this year. They know that. So I don't need a veteran to reiterate on that. I would actually like it if he said, look, they're about winning. We know it. Let's get these guys paid so we don't have to go through all of this and we have to talk about this. I think he kind of missed the boat on this one. Sounded like old guy kind of banging on the younger generation. But I think, Chris, they know what's at stake. They know what they have to do, and they know the position that they're in. They didn't need him to say it.
And I think the other thing is this, and I hear where he's coming from. I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, no, me neither.
This is a team where they are feeling the pressure. Mm-hmm. They need to win the Super Bowl this year. And from that means Kyle Shanahan on down. Because Kyle Shanahan, as we know, we've seen him, whether it was as the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons in that game where they gave up the 28-3 lead to Tom Brady and his offense. He made some boneheaded mistakes.
Yep.
And, of course, he had the lead against the Chiefs with Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback and all of a sudden didn't want to run the football when they had a great running game, and that's what had carried them to the Super Bowl. And the same thing, you know, he had a chance this year to beat the Chiefs and came up short. So Kyle Shanahan, as great of an offensive mind as he is, his play calling in the Super Bowls, particularly late in those Super Bowls, is under question.
Yeah, questionable.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And then we know this team, they got all these high-priced guys. And if Brock Purdy gets paid, and right now all indications are that he will next year, they're going to lose some of those guys. So that's another reason they need to win it now. And then finally, VeeJay, they've been knocking on the door for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And when they've been healthy, they've been right there, and they haven't gotten over the hump. And mentally and emotionally, that can wear you down. After a while, if you don't get over that hill, it can beat you down mentally. So they need to get it done now. So I get where Steve Young is coming from. But here's what I'd say, and I echo what you said about these dudes need to get paid. This is not forever. And the thing is this as well. We know, look, ultimately, this is a job for these guys. And they want to win. Now, I don't question that any of these guys want to win. But at the same time, they want to get paid and take care of their families. And I know people, Trent Williams, his last deal was, I think, 6 years, $138 million. So people are like, well, he got plenty of money. And that's true. And he should have enough to last a lifetime. But these guys do retire early, just in general. Even if LeBron James is going to be done playing basketball at 42 years old. Mm-hmm. That's young.
He might have
that's younger than me. I think that's younger than you, too.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you got a whole life, right? Yeah. You got a whole life to live. And again, they have enough money, but still, that's why when they play the game, they do want to make a ton of money. And here's where I'll make the distinction. I'll add this that you didn't say. For Trent Williams as a left tackle and Brandon Aiyuk as a receiver, yes, they want to win the Super Bowl. Yes, they want to be champions. But let's just keep it real. Winning a Super Bowl does not impact the legacy of position players
at all
the way it does for quarterbacks.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Randy Moss is viewed as one of the greatest receivers ever. Never won a Super Bowl, and it doesn't impact his legacy at all. Calvin Johnson. Tyreek Hill left a Super Bowl team. They went on to win 2 more Super Bowls without him, but he made the right decision, VeeJay. He had to go get paid.
Yep.
Even if he didn't have that Super Bowl, he still would have made the right decision. Now, I think Aiyuk, he's going to have to play regardless. If they don't pay him, it makes no sense for him to sit out because he won't get his $14 million, which is a significant chunk of change. That's what he's owed this year. He won't get that, and he won't accrue time to free agency. So he'll be in the same position next year, so it won't benefit him to sit out. So I think he's going to have to play either way. But I just think that's something, that's the business, man. I'm not mad at Steve Young for being like, man, look, we got a chance to win. It's special, and he's right. But quarterbacks get the lion's share of the credit for winning Super Bowls.
Yep.
And so I understand these dudes putting the money first.
Absolutely. And to talk about the pressure point that you're talking about, there is a lot of pressure. I thought there was pressure on Shanahan last year. I thought that if they lost that game or got blown out, if they decided to move on from Shanahan, I wouldn't have been mad at the front office because there were, remember, John Lynch and that front office made a statement before the season started that, everybody's kind of, on eggshells. We got to go get this done. We can't just keep getting to the conference championship game. Now, I'll point something out, too, about the pressure of their schedule. They have 2 strings of games where it's Cowboys at the Bucks, home against Seattle, at the Packers, at the Bills. That's a heavy 5-game stretch. And then they finish off Rams at the Dolphins, Lions at the Cards. So if they don't have these guys, if they got these guys, they're 13-4. They're 14-3. But if they don't have these guys, okay, now the NFC is now shook up. But I think guys show up and play. I think they get these deals done because you just can't have 2 starters, Chris, out trying to go to a Super Bowl and repeat what you did the year before.
Which one do you think is most important?
For this offense, it's going to be Trent Williams for me because they got to be able to run the ball. Aiyuk's their 5th option.
And his pass blocking, too, because the rest of that line isn't that strong.
Yeah, if you look at their skill positions, you got who wants some of Deebo Samuel, right? Okay, so then you got McCaffrey, then you got Kittle. That's 3. Aiyuk's the 4th. He's not better than any of those 3 guys. You would agree with that?
Look, a few years ago, I believed Deebo Samuel was the best football player.
Yeah.
Just period football player, right, in the league.
Yep.
I don't think that anymore. The injuries have taken a toll. I think Aiyuk is their number 1 receiver.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Aiyuk still is so much that Deebo can do for your offense, though?
Yeah, but he's not really doing that anymore. He doesn't run it as much. I think Aiyuk is a better receiver. I think Deebo is, like I said, he's a terrific football player, and I'm not trying to disparage him.
No, I feel you.
But I do think at this point, Aiyuk is probably better.
Okay.
But I agree with you that of these two, it's Trent Williams.
You take care of the tackle first.
Yeah. Yep. And we talked about pressure. Well, the quarterback is facing as much, I think, as anybody in the league.